Hey everybody! Sorry, I'm just getting a little dinner, or a little pre-dinner. I'll probably eat something a little more substantial than blueberry blueberry waffles for dinner. Hey everybody, this is Patrick. Welcome to our Monday mini medicine card readings. I'm just getting set up, so give people a chance to realize that we're live. Getting my candle lit. Light some sage and smudge my cards. So I'm a little bit out of it today, so I apologize for that. I spent most of the day in the ER, so I'm a little bit tired and a little bit ragged. Yeah, I had one of those shamanic initiations today, so a little bit of excitement, a little bit of adventure. And I am okay. Oofda. But I don't know how much you want to know about me, but I have a history of blood clots, and I had a new one today. So long story short, because of insurance and stuff, I had to go off my medicine for a few weeks, and right before I'm about to get it all straightened out, another clot showed up, so I had to go to the ER, and I'm back on the meds and the blood thinners, so I am fine. I'm just a little tired. I didn't sleep a lot last night, and I guess I'd spent most of the day in the ER, just having a good time like people do. But everything is fine, and I'm fine. And sorting through, like most initiations, I'm still not exactly sure what and why everything happened as it did, but I do know that there was a gift in it, there's a lesson, and that I am only stronger on the other side. So it's kind of, I when I'm doing my classes on shamanism and stuff, I know it's my passion, and so when I talk, I get all kind of lit up and excited and everything like that, and then I try to tell people, but it's really not that easy of a path, and it's the things that happen, the initiations and such really are rough. It is not, the shamanic path is not an easy path. And it gets, everybody wants to be a wizard, everybody wants to be the shaman, everybody wants to have magical powers and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to say it comes with a price, because that makes it, that kind of belittles it. But the whole idea of the shamanic path is to become as authentic and, I don't know what other word to say, but pure, if that makes sense, to let go of everything that you're not, and we are divine light and love. That is who we are in our essence. And so anything short of that is false and is part of what we try to let go of. You know, being a shaman is to be the hollow bone for the spirits to work through into this world. And so the process of getting to that hollow bone point is to purify your energy, release the filters and all the things that get in the way of a clear connection, a clear alignment with spirit. So anyway, I had one of those initiations today. Whew, God. So I'm going to be doing some journeying and some journaling later tonight after this, but I wanted to make sure. Haha. So, thank you and welcome. I am Patrick, and we are going to do some miniature medicine card readings. If you've not been here before, these cards that I use are called the medicine cards, and each one has a different animal on it. And so what I do is I pick, and I'm only going to do 3 tonight. I was going to do 3 tonight anyway because today was my day to do readings all day at a local store, and I ended up spending the day in the ER instead, which was just as tiring. So I'm just going to do 3 cards tonight. So choose a number between 1 and 3, or choose 2 of them, or choose all 3 of them, because you deserve it all. And so what I'm going to do is pull 3 cards, lay them down on the table in front of me, and then I will go through them one at a time. And I forgot to turn on my lights. Woohoo! Alright, so I'll give them one more shuffle. Alright. Alright, here we go. Alrighty, so this is probably a personal reading for me, but you get in on it too. So it's interesting. All 3 cards, as I look at them, they really kind of encompass my experiences of today. So number 1, if 1 is your number, we are starting out with Coyote. So the trickster, the cosmic sacred clown. So Coyote is the trickster, and we have, there's a lot of misguided assumptions and misguided beliefs about the role of the trickster. But the trickster's real goal is not to imprison you, but to help you find that you have the key to the cage that you're in. The coyote will nip at your heels if you're taking things too seriously. If you're having a hard time, if you're like doing the tunnel vision thing, if you're like so focused that you can't see anything around you, and basically he will nip at your heels and try to kind of trip you up, but not out of meanness, not out of you deserve it or you need to be taken down a notch. It's more out of, hey, come play, look. There's so much more than what you're seeing. Coyote is here to remind us of that wanderlust and innocence and playfulness of our inner childs. Our inner children? Your inner child. And it's funny because I joke sometimes that I don't have an inner child, I have an inner puppy. And it's really like all those movies, like, and you might not have actually heard of some of them, but like Cocoon or Hook with Robin Williams, the one about Peter Pan. All those movies they're like, it's about finding the wildness within, finding the adventure within us, finding the joy and the wonder, the childlike wonder of the world, seeing the world as if for the first time. That is the goal of Coyote. Coyote is to bring us into our hearts rather than in our minds. Our minds, like, we grow up and we mature and we start to think logically about everything, and we assign everything a role and a place and a pigeonhole. And Coyote comes along to kind of open that up, be like, to look at the bigger picture, to look at, oh my God, those pigeonholes are so cool. Look at all of the pigeonholes. Look at how that one's all fancy. It's got all the little fancy doodads around it or whatever. It's like looking at what you're actually looking at, to kind of open your eyes and to see what you're actually looking at, rather than just, oh, there's a car, oh, there's a tree, oh, there's a plant. It's like actually seeing the tree, actually seeing the car, noticing the color, noticing how the light shines off of it, how fast it's going, how cool it sounds, or whatever. Coyote comes to kind of wake us up out of our humdrum kind of hypnotic sleep that we're in. So if number 1 is your card, you got Coyote. And the basic message of Coyote, your message for this week, if that is who's working with you, is to have fun, to enjoy yourself. Look beyond appearances. Actually see things rather than just looking at things. Actually see them. As an artist, I understand there's a difference between looking and seeing, because as an artist, you have to look and you have to see how different forms, and I'm looking over my screen at a statue of the goddess Bridget, and I'm like looking at the curve of her face, the tilt of her head, the way the head goes into the neck. It's like seeing, and so you're seeing the shapes, you're seeing the forms, you're seeing how they relate to each other, you're seeing the space between them. And when you're an artist, you're basically just following the line of what you see. Your pencil is just, you're not coming up with anything new, you're not creating thing out of your head, you're just drawing what you see. Your hand is mirroring what your eye sees. And so I have a major in art, in fine arts, and one of my favorite assignments I ever had as an art major was our prof brought in a still life for us, and the still life was pure white. It was like a statue, like an old Grecian statue and some other things, but it was all white. And our assignment was we had to paint this, and the only color we couldn't use was white. And so we had to look, you had to look at the shadows and what tint, what color the shadow really was. Not just, oh, there's a shadow there, black. Oh, there's a shadow there, black. It's like, okay, there's a shadow, but what is the color of that shadow? What is the tint of that shadow, the hue, the color underneath the shadow? And that's one of my favorite pieces I ever painted in school, is this still life. And it's this white statue, but it's like got reds and purples and blues and greens and all kinds of these different, the shadows and the shades are anything but white. So it's seeing those colors that are around us that we just, our brain just sees, oh, that's, oh, a tree, it's brown. Oh, a bush, it's green. It's like, look at the shades of the green, look at the different interplay of colors and lights and shadows that are around you. Like, open your eyes to what is actually there, rather than classifying it and filing it and then going forward to classify. And because when you do that, you're not actually experiencing life. You're categorizing life, you're sticking it into a box. And there's so much more. There's so much more depth to life. There's so much more that is right before our eyes if we would just see it. So Coyote is asking you to play, to look around, to see what things really look like. What do things really sound like? Like just close your eyes and listen to the sounds around you. Don't assign them names. Just see, what does that sound like? And take it in as pure vibration, pure frequency, because that's all sound is. And just see what that sounds like. And see if there's a color that you associate with that sound. Open up your senses. We live so closed down, and we're taught to close down. And that's part of growing up, maturing, is we cover over the inner child, the inner puppy. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, we're just going to put you in your kennel because what you want to do is not real, it's not useful, there's no purpose to it. But the real world is money, and I got to do a job, and I got to do this, and there's my car, and there's the road, and it's like there is so much more. Even doing the same old routine, there is such a greater depth to everything we do than we are normally aware of. So open your eyes, come play. Coyote's nipping at your heels saying, come play, come play. So play, lighten up, find excuses to laugh this week. My go-to is, whose line is it anyway? That show guarantees me a belly laugh at least once every episode. And when you're laughing, that is so healing. And I know they've done medical studies, they've done different scientific studies even about how healthy laughter is, how it really is the best medicine. And when we're open and we're joyful, that's when we allow that the spiritual energy from Creator through us. And that's, how do I put that? It's when we open up to that natural flow of universal energy that we heal. It's not by closing off and fighting off some disease, or it's when we open up, when we surrender to the love and the light that is already there. So that was card number 1, Coyote. Number 2, if 2 was your card, we got our old friend Black Panther. Black Panther is about embracing the unknown. Black Panther, I have worked a lot with Black Panther. And it's still, like I was saying earlier, if you came in late, I was mentioning that I spent most of the day in the ER today because I have a new blood clot in my leg, and I'm fine and back on the meds, and I won't go into the story of why I had to go off them, blah, blah, blah. But, so today when I had to go, well, last night when I was suspecting that I had one, it's like everything just kind of closed down. It's like all of a sudden I'm in the dark and like, oh my God, what if I don't make it to morning? Am I going to even wake up? You know, it's like this darkness, like, and when that comes, there's really, you can either, like I was just talking about with Coyote, you can either fight the darkness or you can surrender to it. And I'm not proud of how I handled it. It probably wasn't my most graceful experience dealing with the unknown, but I did learn many things. And number one, that I can trust my intuition, because I knew something was wrong. And then it was like, well, what do I do about it? And after going through the fear and the anxiety, like the fear thoughts that first come up, it was like, okay, what do I need to do? And it came in clear what I needed to do to help. You know, the first thing I needed to do became crystal clear. So it's like, the darkness the Black Panther represents is not evil. Darkness itself is not evil. We don't live in a universe of light versus darkness. And a lot of times we think, well, yeah, you can't have darkness without the light. You can't have light without the darkness. And everyone has light and dark in them, but they're still thinking in terms of good and evil, like there's a unnecessary evil inside of each of us. And that is not true. The darkness within us is not evil, and it's not counter to the light that we are. The darkness is the womb. The darkness is the unknown. It's great mystery, which holds all possible realities. All possibilities exist in the dark. And so it's going into the dark. And even though you may be afraid and your blood pressure is like really high, there's a sense, there's at least a little bit of you that is surrendering to it, knowing number one, that you live in a friendly universe, that everything is happening for your benefit, whether you can see it or not, that my favorite affirmation, only good can come of this. So even in that time of, like, I seriously, last night and this morning I was really face to face with death. I mean, this literally, I could have not been here tonight had I not paid attention and not done anything to follow my intuition. And so I spent last night with Black Panther, a lot of the unknown, the uncertain, and it's a dark night of the soul, that place where everything we know or everything we thought we knew kind of falls out from under us, and there's like no solid ground. And so you have to there's nothing you can do but surrender to it. Even if you're kicking and screaming, it's like, I learned a while ago that when Black Panther comes to work with me, that even if I'm still afraid, even if I'm freaked out, rather than running away from Black Panther, and you know, with cats, if you run away from a cat, especially big cats, they're going to chase you and they are going to take you down. So instead of running away from the darkness, away from Black Panther, the best way to handle it is to get on her back and to ride her and to trust her. I actually did a comic. I'm a cartoonist, for those who don't know. I do a lot of comics about my shamanic journeys and everything, and I did actually like a 5 or 6 page comic about my dealings with Black Panther and how it's like I have to trust Black Panther, that she knows the landscape. She's taking me through the jungle, through, she's dashing through these trees and thorns, and it's tearing at my clothes, and it's tearing at my skin, and it hurts, and it's painful, and it's scary, but I still have the trust that there is something worthwhile at the end of this ride. And her purpose in taking me through all of those obstacles, is not to throw me off her back or to hurt me or to destroy me in any way. It's actually the low-lying branches and thorns are to like peel away the surface of stuff that isn't true, the things that no longer serve me, kind of like the snake when the snake sheds its skin. It's like going through these things that hurt, knowing that, okay, that wasn't really who I am. And I'm hoping this makes sense. I'm not sure if this makes sense to you right now, but it's to peel away all those things that hinder us until, like in the comic, eventually all my clothes are gone because they aren't who I truly am, and only my essence is left, and that is, what's the word? It's blank, blank, blank. It cannot be harmed. The essence of you is immortal. It's indestructible. It can't be harmed. And that's what, anything that hurts as it's going away is not essentially you. And so we go through these times, these dark nights of the soul, these initiations, and like as a shaman, it's coming face to face with death and being ready, like, okay, I'm freaking out, I'm scared, but whatever needs to happen is going to happen. There's that sense of trust on a deeper level, even though physically I might be freaking out. But there really is nothing that can happen that can destroy you, that can permanently wipe you out of existence. You are here eternally. You have been here eternally. And so, even my kind of echoing my latest comic page that I just drew the other night about your true self, it's not about putting on new experiences, putting on new revelations and piling things on top of you. It's about peeling away all those layers, all those onion skins of untruth in order to uncover the true self of you that has always been there. And that true self is divine love and divine light. And there is nothing that can extinguish that. You might change form, you might, form always changes, but the essence remains the same. So you are eternal, and ultimately there is nothing that can destroy you. So trust the darkness. If you're experiencing darkness, know that you are not alone, that your guides, your guardian angels, your power animals, your ancestors are walking with you through the darkness. You are not alone. Again, it kind of echoes what I said with Coyote about opening our senses to see what's there. And when you can open your senses when you're going through the dark to see what light is actually there, and to feel the love of those who have passed on before us, or of our spirit guides. I was sitting in the ER today on one of those gurney things, waiting for them to tell me I was okay or whatever, still kind of freaking out. And I started watching a video. I had my phone, and so I started watching a video of this woman, Abigail, I'm not sure if I'm getting her name right. I think it's Wainwright. She's from Australia, and she does this beautiful light language with her hands. She does these motions, and she speaks these words like a light language, so you don't actually know what the words are, but it's the frequency of the sound and the light coming through her. And her whole demeanor is just of peace and wholeness. And so I'm sitting here freaking out. My anxiety is at, the highest it's been in a really long time. And I'm freaking out. Oh my God, what if I die? Oh my God, what if I die? And I started watching her, and it just realigned myself with my spirit, that I had to, and I don't know how to describe this, if this will come across right, but stepping back, not away from the physical, but stepping back in a way that still included the physical, but enveloped so much more than the physical, moving kind of into my I don't know, I don't have words for it, but into kind of my shamanic knowing, my greater awareness that I was talking about. And that made all the difference in the world. It was like, okay, as soon as something starts to hurt, as soon as there's a crisis, I close down and I try to force and I try to fight and do what I need to do to get done and heal, and that, when actually the healing comes when you let go and when you surrender. That's when you can feel the spirits come in to help. You can feel the angels around you, your ancestors actually holding you up. So don't honor your fear, honor your anxiety, but know that the darkness is there to help you, that it is from the darkness that we are born. It's from the darkness of the womb that we find new life. And a shamanic path is basically an endless death and rebirth cycle over and over. And so this was the latest of my own. Whew. And I am so grateful I survived. I had the right people at the right time. I had the right intuitive guidance to do what I needed to do, to go to the places I needed to go to get help. So even though I was freaking out and my blood pressure was like really up there, everything worked out, and I am safe, I am whole. I'm still trying to glean the messages and the meanings behind it all, but I also know that the darkness is, what do I want to say? It's, again, words are not coming to me. The darkness can be a sanctuary, because when you realize that you're no longer in charge, there's nothing to do but surrender to the greater powers. And that's part of the point of the darkness, is to take away all that other stimulation, and to realize that you are not in control, and that there is a bigger picture, and it's like there is nothing that you can do to change that bigger picture. And so, and I'm not, and when it's funny because it's like I keep wanting to add little disclaimers and little um, quantifiers because it's like, but I'm not saying that you're not creating your reality. I'm not saying that you're not a creative force in your world, but it's like when we hit the darkness, um, it's like a toroidal field, if you know what that is. Kind of like you think of an hourglass. You have all the sand up here, and then it funnels through, kind of like choo, 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 choo. And then when it gets to that middle part, the skinniest part, it's like, and then it comes out the other side, and it's like, a lot of times we're going through the darkness, the anxiety and the pressure and all of that is reflected in that we're coming out of a bigger space into a bottleneck to be reborn out. It's like the womb, and we're being born, and then boom, we're in the world. And it's just that little skinny spot in the hourglass where everything is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I am reborn. Woohoo! Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. So that is Black Panther. I hope that made sense. I feel like I rambled a little bit. But, okay, our third and final card of the night is Moose. Moose has been coming up so often lately. Moose medicine, my description of moose medicine is majestic dorkiness. It's really about owning your space, being who you are, being that authentic person you came here to be, and being your authentic self, especially if you're on kind of the cutting edge of the awakening or whatever you want to call it, you are going to stand out from the crowd. You cannot blend in. And so you're going to have things sticking out at angles that people just don't understand. And that's a good thing, because it's those things that make us, that make us stand out. Those things that we probably were teased about as children, those things that we try to hide to look like we're being normal. But those are the things that we brought. Those are our gifts to this world. And so owning ourselves, even those parts that stick out, that make us stand out, that's what we came here to give the world. And if you're trying to hide part of yourself, if you're trying to disavow part of yourself, then you're not being whole. You're not walking through the world gracefully and whole. You're limping through the world so that you can hide that extra wing or whatever you've got sticking out that people might not understand. Because we came here to be seen in our wholeness, especially at this time. With everything that's going on, it's like I was talking earlier about the Black Panther and the Dark Night of the Soul. We've been going through this Dark Night of the Soul individually and globally together. This whole year has been, if not even before that, has been a dark night of the soul, when we have to reevaluate things. We have to, nothing works like it used to, so we have to open our eyes and deal with things as they come, because there's no routine anymore. And so when we come into this world, the more we can do to become authentic and to just be, to be seen, to not be afraid to be seen, to, you don't have to accentuate those things that make you stand out, but you can own them. And it's those things that make you stand out. And usually it's like your passions, it's those things that you're passionate about. When you are doing something that impassions you, that brings your passions to the surface, that you get lost in, that is pure inspiration to others. That is what we came here to do. We came here to live our passions, to express who we truly are. And I don't know if you remember, there was a show a while back, one of the original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy got people had this show called How to Look Good Naked, and he would it was I always had tears. It sounds goofy, but I always had tears by the end, because he would take a woman. Each show would be a woman, one or two women, I think, but he would take them through and show them, like, ask them what was wrong, like put them in front of a mirror, ask them what they thought was wrong with their bodies, and then he would go through and point out what made them beautiful, and all these things. That's kind of beyond. I'm kind of getting on a tangent, but anyway. So by the end of the show, these women just carried themselves with more confidence, because they had that better feeling of themselves. They owned who they were. It didn't matter that they broke out of any boxes or expectations that the world held for them. They found out that they were okay exactly the way they are, and by the end of the show, they were carrying themselves with so much grace and acceptance. And one of the things, and this is this is the point that I'm getting around about too, what he always told them was, the only thing you're responsible for is the presentation. How other people receive that is their thing. That's their lesson. That's their thing that they have to deal with, whether it's positive or negative. But however someone reacts to you has nothing to do with you. And the thing is, as we go along our path, as we become clearer and more pure and more authentic, we become a clearer mirror to people. We don't have our own smudges on the surfaces. We don't have all those things that block our light from shining through. So we become like a pure mirror. And so when we present ourselves as we are, authentically and wholly and unapologetically, others will see the reflection in that mirror. It has nothing to do with who you are. It has everything to do with who they are and the way they see themselves, because they're seeing whatever reflection in you that they need to see, whether it's negative or positive, whether it's inspiring. They see you and it wakes up their heart to know that they deserve more, that they can move through grace through the world. Or if they're going to like start name calling or whatever, they're just doing that. That's your light has just nudged awake their heart, and they're afraid of it, and they don't like it because they want to go back to sleep. Awakening is so hard, and there's so much work, and it's just easier to go through the world asleep. And so when they start finger pointing and name calling or whatever, they're just trying to put their heart, that part that's waking up, back to sleep. Your light is kind of poking at their personal demons. That's why people might not like you, and why it doesn't matter, because they don't see you, they see themselves. Especially the further along you get on your spiritual path, the more pure your light, the more authentic you become, the more reflective you are to others. And so you can't be responsible for how others take you. You're actually doing them a service by being in your power, being in your authenticity, because they will see reflected in you exactly what they need to work on. So be yourself, be your full, majestic, dorky self. Follow your passions, be alive. And however people take it is their way they need to take it. but you are planting seeds and you are helping them in their growth. You cannot be, how do I put it? Nothing can be for your betterment and be to the detriment of someone else. If something feeds your light, and I'm not talking about ego, I'm not talking about image, I'm talking about wholeness and authenticity and anything that helps support you in who you truly are as a spiritual being, it cannot be to the detriment of someone else. We are all part of the same energy. There is only one energy, and we are all a part of that. And so what raises one of us raises everybody. So be unapologetically yourself, find your authentic voice, and just be, here I am, take me or leave me, and let people decide how they are going to take you. So, all right, what time is it? Ooh, under an hour, cool. So I'm cutting it a little bit short tonight. If you came in late, I spent most of the day in the ER. I have a new blood clot, and long story that I won't go into, but I am fine and I am back on track. It was an initiation I needed to go through, visiting with Black Panther. But so I'm only doing the 3 cards tonight. I hope that helps. I hope that all makes sense to you. Know that these animals are here to help you this week. Call on them if you need their wisdom, or their courage, or their energy. If you need to lighten up, call on Coyote. You can you can even ask the animal, your animal guides, or your spirit guides, to tell you a joke. A teacher taught me that a long time ago, that if you ask your spirit guides to tell you a joke and they can't, then they probably have another agenda, and they don't have your best interest at heart, because they're focused on trying to get you to do certain specific things for them, and they're like eking off of your energy. But if one of your spirit guides can tell you a joke, then they are most likely a higher vibration, because they have no agenda other than guiding you. They have no agenda about getting you to a certain place by a certain time. They take you where you are and take you just step by step where you need to go. And when you think about, it always brings to mind the Dalai Lama to me. It's like he's probably the most enlightened human on the planet, and yet he can't go for 5 minutes without laughing, right? So with awakening comes laughter. And that's what I was talking about with Coyote, like laugh. Laughter is healing, the surrender. We heal when we surrender. We let the light move through us. And so if they can tell you a joke, if you need to lighten up, then they are on the up and up, and they have your best interest at heart. I don't guarantee the quality of the jokes. They tend to be kind of like 5-year-old humor, but they're still funny. And it also helps you to bond better with, it makes another connection with your spirit guides, and if they can tell you a joke that makes you laugh, then you know that you can trust, you have a new layer of trust with them. You have a new bond, a deeper bond with them. So ask your spirit guides for a joke if you need to lighten up. Go find something to laugh at. Find an excuse to laugh. Okay, I just totally lost my train of thought. So anyway, so those are your cards. Number 1 was Coyote. Number 2 was Black Panther. And number 3 was Moose. If you need a reminder, you can go back and rewatch this video. I'm going to post it on my Facebook page and onto my YouTube channel. And even though I am going through my own initiations and stuff, it is those that it's those kind of initiations that make me stronger as a shaman. It's where I learn, it's the surrendering. And even though it seems at the time it might be like a weakness, being vulnerable and all that kind of stuff, it becomes the solid ground that I stand on to help others. And so I am here, especially during this time of the pandemic, everything else, to support you, to help to empower you. So if there's anything I can do, you can check out my website at perchingwolfstudios.net, see what shamanic services that I offer, to see if anything resonates with you. And even if there's like nothing listed that sounds exactly right, but you still feel a pull to talk to me or whatever, let's set up a session and spend a half hour talking and getting, I'm not the one who does it. It's the spirits moving through me. They're the ones that tell me what needs to be done anyway. And so who knows what might come of it? Who knows what words might flow out of my mouth, or what energy might come to heal, and I do soul retrievals, other healing things that help to make people whole. My whole purpose is to empower others. And so I don't want your power. I don't want your energy. I want you to experience your own power, your own place in the world, because that is what heals the world. That is what awakens the world. So check out my website to see if there's anything there that speaks to you. Feel free to share this video. If you have worked with me, tell your friends, share the video with your friends. I am here to help. And I honestly, truly, there is nothing I enjoy more than helping someone else see their own light. So, was there anything else? Oh, and a blatant plug, if you're interested in shamanism, coming up on the 12th, I'm going to be teaching an introduction to shamanic journey class. So if you resonate with what I'm talking about, if shamanism is something that interests you, that you don't know what it really is, but you want to find out, check out, it's on my website and on my Facebook page. Take that intro class, and then a couple of weeks after that, I'm going to be starting an entire year-long course of shamanism, so that we meet once a month for a few hours and journey together, and I give assignments on things to journey while we're apart. And it's just kind of this year-long evolution on the shamanic path to see if it calls to you, to see if that is your path. And even if you're not a shaman, anybody can practice shamanism. Anybody can do shamanic journeying. And it's amazing. It's about direct revelation, where you can connect to your guides and your guidance without a middleman. That's kind of the point, is that the more empowered we can all be, the more we can get our own answers, the better off we all are. So anyway, that is it for me. I'm going to sign off and go take care of myself, do some journaling and some journeying on the things that happened with me today, my big adventure. And so have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will be back next week, and hopefully we'll do 6 cards like normal, because I won't have that. I won't have anything else that day that's going to be that taxing. And Wednesday nights, if you're free on Wednesday nights, I do another live video. I do a sacred pipe ceremony with the sacred pipe that White Buffalo Calf Woman brought to the Lakota people, what Hollywood calls the peace pipe. I do on Wednesday nights at 7. I kind of hold space, and I do the pipe ceremony to help give people a space to come in the middle of the week, to take a breath, connect, let go of the outside world, and to join our hearts together in prayer and intention. So feel free to join me then on Wednesday night. And other than that, until the next time I see you, know that I love you, and that I see you, that I honor you. So until I see you again, go shining. Bye.